Aloha, friends and neighbors. Rollin Frost here, dreaming again. What I've been dreaming about this morning is, wouldn't it be wonderful if there were no need for passports anymore? We didn't need these things to go from country to country. And then I begin to think, you know what a passport really is? It's your ticket to go on to some place that you already should have the freedom to go for. And it strikes me that this is a little bit like, a bunch of people at UH claiming the mountain for our telescopes. And now, we have control over access. Well, governments are just like corporations. You could think of a government, doing passports, only letting people in here and there and keeping track of them, to a big corporate hotel that comes along and grabs the best beach we have in the islands and then restricts access and stuff. What's going on here anyway? Yes, I do have a certain hotel corporation in mind. I'll get to that after the sky mirror. First, let's go over the sky mirror for you. This is a way of going over the next 10 days so you can plan a little bit. And we're going to do the first part of July in the year 2015. Program number 971, Rollin Frost here at your service, living on the Kona coast. Thank heavens I live in Kona, huh? Wow. What was it John Lennon said? Imagine there's no borders. Imagine there's no fences with signs that say keep out. What's your week going to be like anyway? Well, I've drawn up a chart here. It's a very energetic chart. There's a lot of angriness going on here. By and large, a lot of this is due to Mars, which is moving up here, and it's going to oppose Pluto. So here's a policeman, here's a young person, and a young man, and it's going to get energetic because Uranus is there and Pluto is there, and well, I got so many notes over here to myself to tell you about and share that I don't know where to start. But basically, these two big planets are going to slow down and stop. Uranus is slowing down on the 26th and Saturn on the 2nd of August. And, these two are going to make a big fuss here towards the end of the month. But, let's get back to where you're at. There is a new moon coming up for you here on July 15th at 23 Cancer. Now this one is going to set off the USA chart, the Mercury-Pluto opposition. And a lot of people are going to speak out. And there's a lot of new wisdom around. I'll tell you, the thing about all these guns is, even in the Old West they had a lot of guns, What most towns did is they had to outlaw concealable handguns. You could carry a long gun around, that's what we need to do, but not a short gun that you could conceal. And when they started to do that, people invented derringers, and the ladies had tiny pistols in their pockets. They outlawed all of that. You couldn't carry a concealed pistol into a town in the Old West. You should be that way on our island. Anyway, Mars is going to come along here and light some fires, and towards the end of the week it's in square to Uranus, and it's opposing Pluto, and there's going to be some action. Let's see how it goes day by day. We're going to run the moon around this planetary pattern, and as it makes angles to the various bodies, the people, the actors on the stage, it generates the mood of the times for you. This is a general thing now. This is not your chart. This is kind of for everybody. You could be a little bit earlier, a little bit later, but Thursday night, the moon's in Taurus. It's quite nice. It's coming up on a nice Neptune thing here, and a trine to Mars late Thursday night, early Friday morning. You're inspired to action, and Mars is inspired too, and that can be a little hazardous. He could get fanatical. My religion told me blah blah, look out, but Friday morning you could diffuse a lot of this stuff. And between breakfast and lunch there's a trine to Pluto. And the gun issue, why can't you understand, folks? Handguns are dangerous. Policemen shoot themselves in the foot. The worst fear of a policeman is somebody's going to take my pistol and kill me. So take away the pistols. Let them carry shotguns. Let them carry AK-47s. Anything so you can see it. And that includes all these undercover cops that we have shooting people in Hawaii. Take away the handguns, solve the problem 80%. It's a new idea. No, it isn't. It's an old idea. Ben Franklin said, men must be taught as if they're not, and new things proposed as things forgot. Well, we forgot how to control pistols. We did it in the Old West. Yeah, and it was all about concealed pistols, wasn't it? So there's your epiphany about Pluto for Friday. Hope somebody takes that and runs with it. The middle of the day is pretty good for epiphanies and new discoveries on Friday. The moon in Taurus. But as you go to Friday night, here's a square to Jupiter. Too much. I ate too much. I'm trying to do too much. There's too much noise, too much laughing. There's a square to Venus Saturday morning. Everybody's trying to have a good time, but there's no sugar, there's no sweets. No sex. So this is not the Friday night's not the time to go looking for pleasure. You'll want it, but it ain't there, and you'll find out even more the hard way Saturday with the opposition to Saturn here between breakfast and lunch. Ran out of time, ran out of money. I'm hungover, I ate too much. I feel terrible. Saturday morning, the 11th of July. Ugh. Feel that way pretty much through Saturday. It gets a little woozy as you go into Saturday afternoon and evening, because here 2 a.m. in the morning Sunday is the opposite, or the square to Neptune, and so there's confusion here. So this really messes up your weekend. You'll see right away Saturday morning there's no peace, no quiet, you can't stay in bed. No money, no time, confusion, delusion. Late Saturday, you'll be going through it till Sunday even. Monday, it changes. Monday morning, here's a nice sextile to Uranus. Common sense prevails, Aquarian values. Here's a sextile to Jupiter. Wise people, sudden wisdom and natural knowing. And Venus, love, pleasure, fun. It's on Monday. Yeah, not on the weekend. So take some flowers into work. You'll enjoy work Monday. You'll just enjoy being around people Monday. It's quite a nice day. And don't let your guard down though, because Monday night, after dinner, the moon goes into Cancer. And that's where the SHIT kind of hits the fan, because here's the new moon in Cancer. It's Wednesday in the middle of the day, or in the morning. And this is the one that squares old Uranus, which is shaking and electrically zapping and making us feel all alone and weird and a little bit skitsy. Yeah. And Mars. Oh boy. Oops, excuse me. It's going to start with inspiration. That's what scares me. Here's a trine to Neptune. Oh, put some gasoline on the fire. And then you get the Mars opposing Pluto, a fire you can't control. So, it's like everybody's getting sucked into here with delusions. Oh, there's lots of oil and gas. We're going to be first in the world. Get it out. Hey, there ain't no more after they take it out. What about your grandchildren? It's delusion by these oil companies and these drug companies and these pharmaceutical companies and these pesticides and Roundups. And okay, go out and use some Roundup. Geez. But you're going to find out here there's going to be some fires and there's going to be some angriness and there's going to be a fight. And this is a likely time when a lot of people are going to go after Pluto Not a time to be a policeman. Not a time to have a gun, a handgun anywhere, because Mars is likely to take it this time. Happens suddenly, your Tuesday and Wednesday, you're going to be riveted. Of course, that's like regular stuff these days in our country, isn't it? There's a shooting, there's a manhunt, there's 1,000 officers out looking for 2 Neptune characters, slippery little fish in New York. But this is this is sudden, and this is different, and this is angry. So, treat people like your brothers and sisters on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and don't buy into the road rage. There's a new moon Wednesday in the middle of the day, and it's all against this stuff. Take away the handguns. The police don't need the handguns. Nobody wants these handguns. Can't hit anything with them. I was on the pistol team in the Army. It's a stupid weapon. Get serious. Get sober. You get real sober here late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, with the moon trining Saturn. Maybe he's right. We don't need these handguns. They're easy to outlaw. Our country didn't start with handguns. Nobody ever thought police would carry guns around. No. Anyway, Thursday the moon goes into Leo. Calms down, starts getting happier. Through Friday, the moon's still in Leo. It's headed towards the Jupiter trining Uranus. And here's, Friday night, you'll feel the zap and the wisdom and the laughing. And this is the real party time. This is when love and brotherhood and stuff comes on sweet. It's Friday, the 17th of July. And Saturday, the 18th of July. It doesn't halt until you get the square to Saturn, which is about dinner time, Saturday night, the 18th. The moon slips into Virgo. It gets slower and colder, kind of stays that way. Problems with liquids on Sunday, the 19th, and pre-Stardust doctors. Boy, sometimes the BS is so thick you need hip boots. You'll figure out a lot of it Sunday night. There's a trine to Pluto, due diligence and discovery. What did that guy say? I don't believe he said that. Whoa. Okay, let me see if I can unscramble this stuff a little bit for you. Kind of groups itself into a bunch of stuff happening at the end of July and a few things happening very soon. Very soon, the main thing is here on the 9th, which is your Thursday. If you're on a Thursday night show, Mars opposed the full moon point, and you've already had hot things, sharp things, anger, fires, stuff going on there. That's the first real date we've got down. Then up ahead a little bit, in the middle of July, we've got the new moon on July 15th at 23 Cancer. Now that one, 23 Cancer, squares Uranus at 20 Aries. So now we have a new moon squaring the planet Uranus. And we have Uranus slowing down and going retrograde, yes, at 21 Aries. That happens at 26. There's the end of the month shaking, huh? So we're setting up for it here. We got the lunation. We got the full moon squaring Uranus, irritating. Power went out. The cable companies are ripping us off. The electric companies, Helco, my God. Eek. So we got a lot of Uranus stuff going on here that nobody's going to like too much because the full moon squared Uranus. And a lot of that shaking tends to come out. Yes. Around the 15th and the 14th, actually, I have down here when the moon goes by and hits Mars and Mercury, and they both oppose the full moon at 10 degrees. And so, and on top of that, Mercury here on the 13th, the day before, opposes that full moon. So that full moon, which happens July, where is it? The full moon, happened July 1st. Means the whole month of July is real sensitive to 10 degrees of Capricorn. very close to Pluto. Guns and police and stuff, yeah. So, I'm getting confused here, but upshot is, in the middle of July, we got all this action, okay? And it's going to get real sharp around the 14th, 15th. And policemen will be attacked, and they need to take care of themselves. They're being used by the system, believe it or not. Yes, they're not the bad guys. So here at the end of the month, we had another set of things going on. And the trick is here that Uranus stops, and the whole world is shaking July 26th, okay? And it's stopping at 21 Aries and square to the new moon. So it's having lunacy. There's a lot of nutty things going on. And Uranus, of course, is famous for earthquakes. The really big ones, here's the bad guy, Saturn, which stops in the sky the 2nd of August. I mean, it's only 5-6 days apart. Uranus stops and shakes everything. Saturn kills by crushing. Big walls come down, buildings come down. You know, they used to take and put a door on the witch and pile rocks on her to her and the door until she expired. A slow crushing. Anyway, Saturn's stationing is very scary because you got to go dig people out of all the rubble of what happened with the earthquake. And hence my concerns that the end of July, 1st of August, this Saturn thing is going to become very important, and Uranus and Saturn both stationing, both stopping in the sky. Uranus shaking, Saturn worrying and frightening and getting stuck. These are real bad guys, you know. And okay, so you got the idea. You got two hot spots here in the month of July. I think that best I could do right now. We could take a look at the astrocartography of this and see if we can figure out more about where it might happen. But maybe before I do that, now I could just be dreaming here, but some strange things are happening. Strange in that, you know, I go into the neighborhood and handle a minor pesticide problem, and in the next day or so the whole island lights up about Roundup. The very thing that I was dealing with on a small level turned out to be much bigger than I thought. So it seems like I generally precede this stuff by a day or two, and it just happened again. Here's a story. I'm driving up to KTA where I do my shopping. I do the shopping, I'm coming back down. I just went up there for a bag of cat food, really. And as I'm driving, as I hit the little exit to the parking lot, I look over and there's a forlorn little black and white cat sitting on the curb looking at me. I'm a sucker for the black and whites, you know. My first cat was, they call them tuxedo cats. And he looked kind of lonely and disheveled, and I looked over there on the little lawn and there's a thing from Advocats. Yes, it's an Advocat feeding station. So I stopped and I went back and I opened up the bag of cat food I had, walked over next to the sign and poured a pile in the grass about 3-4 inches high and 6 inches across. And I no sooner got back to the car than another cat jumped out, a striped big gray one, had a bright cherry on the end of his nose. Somehow he'd been injured. And then the little black and white came over. But along with the black and white, I was amazed, came a whole bunch of mongoose. 6 or 7 of these little guys. Now I like mongoose. They're smaller than cats. The 2 cats and the 6 mongoose are all kind of going after the cat food. And I was a little bit amazed. And kind of enjoyed it. The cats got what they needed, and so did a bunch of mongoose. Anyway, this is Sunday now, and when I picked up the newspaper today, there's a couple interesting things I had to do with the cats. Check this out. Yep. 2 days after I fed those cats, I guess I joined a group. It's a lovely week at the Waikoloa at the Hilton Kings Land Resort, greeted by 6 sweet but wary cats. None of them had notched ears to indicate they were spayed or neutered. They talked to the Humane Society, and they said that they didn't know anything about it, and they didn't have a trap neuter release program, but an organization called Advocats does. Now I got to tell you, Advocats got to be one of the best organizations of all times. Advocates for Cats. That's when it got interesting. Cindy Thurston returned her call. Advocats is not allowed on the property at King's Land as a directive of a general manager. Okay, folks, call up the King's Land Resort and tell that manager to get his head straight. This poor lady says that at the front desk, she wanted to know if there were any organizations. Nope, they weren't permitting Advocats. This man shouldn't be in that job. What's he doing with all that land? Somebody call him up and set this guy straight. Okay, here's a puzzle. Same June 21st, Sunday, West Hawaii. Today is a picture of a Konani board. Now, folks, I step right up to this. I are an expert. I spent 5 years counting the boards along the Kona coast. When I saw this, how nicely it's marked out, I naturally just started counting. Wound up counting 16 rows by 18. And I thought, wait a minute. All the Konani, this is huge. But all of them I've ever seen were odd by even. You can't play Konani on an 8 by 8 or a 10 by 10. Like checkers, they always have to be 8 by 9s, 9 by 10s. 10 by 11 was the most common board most Hawaiians played on. They had the long-term memory genius. Most Westerners couldn't play Konani. But upshot is, here's a 16 by 18, and I've been puzzling over it all day. How could that be? That looks like a even-sized board. Then I realized it's actually, you cut it in half, it's an 8 by 9, one of the most, that's 2 8 by 9s. And gosh, I did a film, yeah, and if anybody's interested in Konani, I have a video I'll get you for $1 or something, and about the history and where the boards are here and how to play. And I really know, I spent 5 years of my life learning and researching Konani. And the result is I proved that Hawaiians have an extra notch in their brain. They got a wonderful long-term memory, a genius other races don't have. I learned because I researched the Konani game. And this is a good example. If somebody's going to play a 16 by 18, I don't know if you could play this in one day. That's a huge board. Most of them we found big ones were like 12 by 17s and stuff. Anyway, if you want to know about Konani, call Rollin Frost at 322-3584. And, I love telling you about it all. Okay, here's a tantalizing little tidbit of astrology. My son Matt on Kauai emailed me this, and I'm stoked. Here, an astrologer studied this kid that did this and the time that he did it. And it's a wonderful little study, and I'm really happy. Somebody else there is doing work like this, like I am. I'm not alone. Hooray, I'll show you. This lady's name is Leslie Hale in Nashville. And she's been studying it since the 70s, full-time since 2003. It's a great article she did. She's a real pro. I'd send anybody to see this lady and say you could expect upfront data. 9 people gunned down June 17th. Okay, what's the next thing? Here's this guy. The shooting occurred at 9 p.m. June 17th. Looking at the chart at the time, the moon falls in the 7th house, and Pluto's in the 1st house, exact at 14 degrees of Cancer, and Uranus. She's on the Uranus-Pluto thing. Um, it sets off the thing within a 5-degree orb, she says. Whoa, she's good. Now, the start of this Uranus-Pluto, it's been going on for a while. The new moon, let's see, what's some background here? Okay, here's the kid. So the moon was setting off the Uranus-Pluto square, okay? Turns out Dylan's storm is a 13-degree Aries sun. Yes. With Uranus-Pluto square has been aspecting his sun. Uranus going over the sun, Pluto squaring it. And this is really tough. And that's who that young man, the killer, was, who killed on a day of lunacy. And this lady, a little astrology goes a long way to understanding what the heck goes on, huh? Geez, every place I look now, this is the Monsanto man telling us, oh, it doesn't hurt people, doesn't hurt pets. Be a man. Yes, be a man. Use round. How stupid does Monsanto think we are? The Dutch ban Roundup. France and Brazil soon follow. France bans sale of Monsanto's herbicide. France bans Roundup in garden shops. The French are ahead of us, folks. They got Monsanto's number. Nice to know somebody else out there is active to outlaw that chemical. Dreaming, huh? We'll get rid of it. What the heck? You know, to me, most weeds are really, wildflowers, so. But insects, here's the thing on insects. Go to this website, earthworkshealth.com. Yes, and you'll see the old guy there that markets this stuff. You can get it freely for practically nothing. $5-10, have them send you a jar. You can do it for all sorts of things, but I never see an insect in my house again. We have no more fleas, no more centipedes, no more nothing like that. And my cats don't have fleas because of this wonderful inorganic mechanical thing. You can feed it to your pets and your livestock, and it gets rid of internal things, and moreover, you can take it yourself. And your nails get stronger. It has all these wonderful benefits. Aloha.